please. What's up, movie lovers? I'm Mike, and this is Gotta Love Them Movies. Oh, you guys, happy Friday. Happy Friday to everyone. Like this is the last day before the weekend. We've got so many fun things to sit around and talk about and pontificate about and debate about. For anyone who's been watching with any amount of regularity, here at Gotta Love Them Movies, Fridays are reserved for Gotta Debate Them Movies. This last week, this has been a kind of a roller coaster week, you guys. We've had some heavy news come out last weekend about Chadwick Boseman and Black Panther. And then, with news just yesterday of both Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson and Robert Pattinson coming down with coronavirus. Production of The Batman has been put on hold for a second time. It will be out for at least 2 weeks, maybe 3, if not a month. Just trying to get everybody back healthy again, make sure nobody else is coming down with coronavirus. And like I said, this has been a bit of a roller coaster week. One of my most anticipated films, Bill and Ted Face the Music, came out. We got to review that. So it's been a good week and a bad week and just a weird week. Heavy on the movie news. Anyway, guys, today is one of my most favorite days of the week, where this has Gotta Debate Them Movies, where we sit around and I pit like odd pairings of movies and characters and things up so that we can sit around and debate about them. So let's kick things off. Ladies and gentlemen, coming back to defend her title all the way from Anchorage, Alaska, please put your hands together for one Ms. Kay Hartman.
Yay! I'm happy to be back.
Yeah, Kay, you were last week's champion. What did it feel like winning our very first Gotta Debate Them Movies debate?
After the year that I think we've all had, it felt nice to win one.
One in the hand is worth 2 in the bush.
Yes,
all
absolutely.
Right. And our defender, coming all the way also from Anchorage, Alaska. We did not plan this. This was completely happenstance. Also from Anchorage, Alaska, hoping to possibly knock our champion off of her pedestal. Please put your hands together for a very good friend of mine, Mr. Daryl Akins.
What's good, y'all?
Woo!
What's good? Hey.
Daryl, last week we got to learn a little bit of Kay, about Kay and what qualifies her to debate movies. She is a bit of a Kay. Remind me, you have a degree in movie psychology. What is this?
Oh man, that would be awesome. No, my degree is in history with a focus on World War II films and Office of War and the Office of War information. So World War II cinema, I'm your girl.
Daryl, that's a heavy bag to carry, especially when you're looking to knock the queen off of her throne. What is your particular brand of expertise here? I know that you and I have a shared love of geekdom and nerddom, and we have our own various collections of things. What is it that makes you qualified to think, maybe you can challenge Kay?
Well, I don't know if you can tell by looking at me, but I'm old. And as a latchkey kid, I kind of sort of just reared myself on all manner of movies, and I have a plethora of movie watching experience that I think would give a history major, or I don't know exactly what it was. She said it sounded real official and stuff.
World War II.
But
World War
I
II
think I
film
can
cinema.
give her, I can give her a run for her.
All right. Okay, so you got you come with your own brand of expertise, ladies and gentlemen. I am really looking forward to this head-to-head debate. I think it's going to be really good. I think it's going to be really challenging. We have a few tricks up our sleeves, but before we can get to those tricks, first we have to go over the show order for today. First of all, as we do every single day, I'm going to tell you how to subscribe to the channel on YouTube and why that's important. Next, we're going to do a really quick Toy Tuesday recap, and then we're going to jump right into Gotta Debate Them movies. Round one, the clue for round one is the Indy 500. Ooh. Clue for round two is biting technology. The clue for round three is Hannah versus Barbera. The clue for round four is spy versus spy. And of course, our round number five is always a mystery question. It's a little bit more of an open-ended thing. We don't know what's about to come, and neither do our challengers, so they will find out in just a moment. But before we can continue on with that, first, I got to tell you how to subscribe to the YouTube page. It's really rather simple. Go over to youtube.com, type in Gotta Love Them Movies. Once you get there, you'll see a little red box in the top right-hand corner that says subscribe. Go ahead and click that button. What clicking that button does is it builds my subscriber base. But Mike, we're watching this video live on Facebook. Why do I need to go to Facebook, or why do I have to go to YouTube and click that subscribe button? Well, here's the thing, you guys. Once I get enough subscribers, and once I get enough people watching the content that I produce, I will then qualify to start earning ad revenue. And that means I get to make this show my full-time job, and I get to bring this to you every single day and get paid for it. That's the dream, you guys. So I would very much appreciate it if you could help us out in that regard. So click that subscribe button, like, share, comment on the video, all that stuff. And as always, once when we hit, man, language, not my forte. When we hit 1,000 subscribers on YouTube, this show will be transferring from Facebook to YouTube Live. So again, just all those things to keep track of. Going back to the show order, I was going to tell you just a really quick recap of Toy Tuesdays. Today's toy for this week's Toy Tuesday is a 2020 San Diego Comic-Con exclusive pin. These pins sold out in the Comic-Con online store. I have one up for grabs. If you want to qualify to win this particular enamel pin, all you have to do is like this video, share this video on social media, subscribe to the YouTube page, jump down to the comment section below, and write the words Toy Tuesdays. That's it. That's all you have to do to qualify. Subscribe, like, and share. Comment the words Toy Tuesdays on this video. Okay, you guys, I think we have enough down and out of the way. I think it's about time to start debating. Let's jump right into Gotta Debate Them Movies.
I don't know what we're yelling about! It's terrible! She has beautiful eyes and her hair smells like cinnamon! Loud noises!
All right, I am so excited for this, you guys. It is time to debate them movies. If you want to send me a debate question, it's really rather simple. All you have to do is send me an email at gottalovethemmovies@gmail.com. Put in the subject line, debate question. Just write the words debate question in the subject line when you send me an email, and your debate question that you want to see us debate on Gotta Debate Them Movies will pop up here. All right, you guys, challengers, are you ready? Kay, are you ready to start debating?
Absolutely.
Daryl, are you ready to start debating?
Got my Green Lantern ring on.
What? Oh.
Though I do say, full disclosure, one of my neighbors just let me know that there's a black bear in the neighborhood. So if I'm looking out the window and seeming distracted in true Alaskan style, there might be a bear in my yard. So I will let you know.
You might have a bear in your... That's crazy. I live in New York City. If a bear...
Remember what I said? Alaska's always trying to kill you. This is what I'm talking about. I'll be looking out this window for a bear.
That is insanity. Daryl, Kay might have a bear walking through her backyard. Is there any chance that you might have a bear walking through your backyard?
No, but I might have a bear walking up the street past my house.
Oh.
So yeah, that's very common, and moots even more so.
Well, I mean, in New York City, the types of bears that we get are very different from the types of bears that you guys have out in Alaska. So, okay.
Delightful.
Are you guys ready to start debating? All right. Well, here we go. Question number one, debate question number one. This comes to us all the way from Ben in Edinburgh in Scotland. And Ben says, hey, Mike, I'd love to see a debate on what is the best Steven Spielberg movie. He wants to see a debate on what is the best Steven Spielberg movie. Well, Ben, I'm glad you said that because we have decided to take your question and answer it to the fullest and also put a spin on it. I didn't want this just to be a straight debate about what is the best Steven Spielberg movie. I wanted to put a little bit of a twist in there. So your clue earlier was the Indy 500. That's right, ladies and gentlemen. Our challengers, or rather our debaters today, will debating which is the best Steven Spielberg movie of all time. Is it Raiders of the Lost Ark, or is it Kingdom of the Crystal Skull? That's right. This is the Indy 500. And here's how we're going to determine it. Heads will be Raiders of the Lost Ark. Tails will be arguing for Kingdom of the Crystal Skull. Kay, you are our champion. And Daryl, you are the challenger. So as the challenger, I give the impetus to you. Daryl, would you care for heads? Or actually, I'm not going to let you choose. I'm just going to let the coin choose for you. So I will flip. If you get heads, you will be arguing for Raiders. If you get tails, you will be arguing for Kingdom of the Crystal Skull. Here we go. And Daryl, you are arguing. It was heads. You will be arguing for Raiders of the Lost Ark as the best Steven Spielberg movie of all time. And Kay, you will be arguing for Kingdom of the Crystal Skull as the best Steven Spielberg movie of all time. Are we ready? Daryl, are you ready?
I am ready.
Kay, are you ready?
I'm ready.
Daryl won the coin toss. I keep doing this. The coin toss. Oh man. Maybe we'll just have to call it the coin toss from now on. So Daryl won the coin toss, which means Kay, you are going to begin the debate. What are your opening arguments as to why Kingdom of the Crystal Skull is the best Steven Spielberg movie of all time? Go.
Well, let's talk about Hollywood in 2008. What was the big thing going on? It was the writer's strike. So many things were being affected in 2008. And still, this franchise film was able to come out and, be a successful, entertaining story. It's Indiana Jones for a whole new generation of viewers. As mentioned previously, I grew up in a very conservative home, so I didn't get to watch a lot of Indiana Jones films growing up. This was the first one I ever saw in the cinema. And having opinions on whether it's good or bad is here or there. But for me, this was my first Indiana Jones in a theater with my friends at midnight. The whole experience. That's why I think it is the best film. Also, I lived in Los Angeles in 2007 and 2008, and I got to see a lot of the casting calls for extras. I got to see the information about how they were going to update the ride at Disneyland, and getting to be part of that really made this whole experience with this film a whole new magical level. Plus, you cannot beat this cast. I mean, the original cast is there, but you've also got Cate Blanchett, Shia LaBeouf, John Hurt, some of the most influential actors of our time. So those are my opening arguments as to why this is the superior Steven Spielberg Indiana Jones film.
Wow, Daryl coming out of the gate, or rather Kay coming out of the gate swinging. Daryl, what are your opening arguments as to why Raiders of the Lost Ark is the greatest Steven Spielberg movie of all time?
Okay. First of all, 2008 writer's strike notwithstanding, Kingdom of the Crystal Skull was still a subpar movie, and an even less subpar movie as far as an Indiana Jones movie is concerned. You know what is not a subpar Indiana Jones movie? Raiders of the Lost Ark. Why? What did you get in Raiders of the Lost Ark? You got a grizzled young Harrison Ford as Indiana Jones. You got perhaps the best closing scene of any Indiana Jones movie, with who doesn't like to see Nazis' faces melt? Indiana Jones brought you melting Nazi faces. It brought you snakes, and more snakes. Who doesn't like snakes? besides Samuel L. Jackson. Everybody loves snakes, so why not? It was a journey. It took you up, it took you down, it took you all over the place, and it was the first time anybody had ever seen a serial type movie of that nature in modern times, more or less. If you don't count the Star Wars movie.
Wow. Okay. Again, like a great argument. Kay, Daryl's coming at you with some pretty good facts. You had a pretty strong argument. Kay, what would you say in retribution? That's not the word I'm
Right.
looking for. Like, what is your rebuttal? What is your rebuttal argument here?
My opponent makes some amazing points. One I would argue, though, is that not everybody likes snakes other than Samuel L. Jackson. Harrison Ford's character, Indiana Jones, is very vocal about his hate of snakes. So I would argue that not everybody likes snakes. Plus, also, not only did Crystal Skull give us Harrison Ford as the now older, more rough and tumble Indiana Jones, but they also kept the secret of Karen Allen as Marion secret the whole time. None of us knew she was going to be in the film. They would smuggle her in and out of the studio just to keep that a surprise for audiences. And I don't know that Raiders had that same level of surprise by throwing back to these original characters and having them in such integral parts of the film. And not only that, a son is Shia LaBeouf's character of Mutt. That's a whole new level that could bring us to even more films later. So that would be my rebuttal to my opponent's statements.
Daryl, I may not agree with Kay, but I mean, she makes some strong arguments there. It's hard to agree with the logic that she's bringing out. Do you have any logistical things to say? First of all, pro Raiders, but also anti Crystal Skull.
Pro Raiders, other than it was the first, and without Raiders of the Lost Ark, you wouldn't have a Kingdom of the Crystal Skull. As far as bad guys, I think the bad guys in Raiders of the Lost Ark were a lot more memorable. And that was my first time ever seeing Alfred Molina in the beginning of Raiders of the Lost Ark when he double crosses Indiana Jones. And I thought that was like a really cool scene, and it was at the beginning, and it kind of sets the pace of the movie. There's going to be double crossing. There's going to be a lot of chasing, a lot of getting caught, that sort of thing. And even though Kingdom of the Crystal Skull had those things in it, it almost seemed like there was sort of a malaise to the entire movie, as if, okay, we've seen this before, we've done this before. What is it you're going to give us that's going to make us think, okay, something that stands all by itself and it's not just an also ran? And I never saw that in Kingdom of the Crystal Skull.
Daryl, just for a moment, do you mind addressing the technical aspects of both films? What was it about the technical aspects that helped both films, and what was it about the technical aspects that hurt both films?
Well, Kingdom of the Crystal Skull, I guess we can say, because it was made later, the visual effects, the special effects are a little better in some areas, but I mean, Raiders of the Lost Ark still holds its weight. I mean, you could watch Raiders of the Lost Ark right now and then watch Kingdom of the Crystal Skull, and other than the special effects, I don't really see anything technically that ranks it or makes it better than Raiders of the Lost Ark.
Okay. Kay, same question to you. What is it about the technical aspects of both films that help them and hurt them?
Well, in 2008, 2006, 2007, when this film probably was being developed and filmed, there was an option to film this digitally, and Spielberg still opted to put it on film. And this is something that's a rare find now. So the choice to keep it technically as it was previously is really a great throwback to the original. And for continuity's sake, Harrison Ford apparently was in such good shape that he actually had the same measurements for his costume for Crystal Skull than he did for the film that came previous,
Did not
even
know
though there
that.
was a
Interesting fact.
20-30 year gap. So technologically, I think it was a good choice to stick with filming it on film instead of doing it digitally, even though digital was still pretty new at the time. If there was a studio that could afford it, it would be Amblin Entertainment. So I think that was a really good choice.
All right, so closing arguments. You both have made excellent points on both sides of the coin so far. Kay, we're going to start with you. Do you have any final closing arguments to say that Crystal Skull, like, definitively is the better movie of the two? Or not just the better movie, but the best of the entire Spielberg pantheon?
Completely. So Crystal Skull, I should say all the Indiana Jones that came before it are historical fiction. I'm a historian. I love historical fiction. If you look on this shelf, that's what it mostly is back here. Lots of historical fiction.
Yep.
But this took it to a new level of historical science fiction by including characters and creatures not of this world, really bringing in that Spielberg feel that we got from films like E.T. by reaching out beyond our planet's, perimeters. It's not just history, it's science fiction and history.
Fantastic. And Daryl, same question to you. What is it that makes Raiders of the Lost Ark not just better than Crystal Skull, but the best film in the Spielberg pantheon?
Well, first of all, Raiders of the Lost Ark isn't just a good Indiana Jones movie. It's a good movie, period. People who do not generally go to movies to watch action movies or aren't into the action genre will thoroughly enjoy Raiders of the Lost Ark because the story, first of all, is engaging. It's already cemented its place in history. So, I mean, we can go back and forth all day, but Raiders of the Lost Ark is just that movie. I mean, what else can I say? It speaks for itself, quite honestly.
Oh man, you guys, this is. First of all, Kay, I want to address what you said in your opening arguments. As I threw it to you to open your opening arguments, I was taking a sip of my beverage, and you went right out of the gate. Well, first of all, in the 2008 writer's strike, I nearly spit my beverage all over my computer. It was so funny and like so heartwarming to me that you had like this argument already pre-prepared.
I see. I lived in Los Angeles at the time, and I was a sad, starving writer. And we would bring the protesters snacks and juice packs because I lived on Olive, right by Warner Brothers, where most of the protests were happening. So that's a very large memory of my early adulthood.
Very, very serendipitous when it comes to this particular argument. And then Daryl, when you started like combating, like, no, like especially in your closing arguments when you were saying like, Raiders stands alone on its own by itself. I kept going back and forth because at times I was like, no, I think Kay is actually making the better argument. I disagree with her completely. Like, Crystal Skull is a terrible movie. It's awful. I dare say one of the worst Spielberg has ever done. But Kay, you were making some really great points. But then also to Daryl's point, you were calling it out. You were saying, like, no, it's a bad movie. Raiders is obviously the best. Like, if it weren't for Raiders, we wouldn't even have a Crystal Skull. So this is a particularly difficult argument for me to decide on. I would like to go to the coin. For the first time ever, I would like to go to the coin because I genuinely cannot come up with a winner because you both had such strong arguments. So for the first time ever, we're gonna leave it up to chance. We're gonna leave it up to chance and see who the winner is. Heads for Raiders, tails for Crystal Skull because I can't decide. All right, here we go. I'm sorry, guys. The point goes to Kay.
I've peaked. This is the best I'll ever get. Goodbye.
The point goes to Kay. Daryl, I'm sorry you lost that round. It was evenly matched. In my opinion, it was evenly matched. I don't know. I don't know how to decide something like that. So the point in the first round goes to Kay. Congratulations. I wish I had like an audience clapping sound effect to insert right here, but we don't. I will just way to go, Kay. Congratulations on that. All right, so let's move on to debate question number 2. Debate question number 2 comes from Ben from Edinburgh. Funny. It seems like we already had a question from Ben in Edinburgh. And Ben says, "Hey, Mike, I'd love to see a debate on what is the worst Steven Spielberg movie." And as before in the show rundown, our prompt, our cue for debate question number 2 was biting technology. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, we will be debating Jaws versus AI, artificial intelligence, for the worst Steven Spielberg movie of all time. Is it Jaws or is it AI, artificial intelligence? Just to kind of be fair, in the spirit of, in all fairness, we are going to give the opposite sides of the coin to our debaters. I feel like Kay kind of got the short end of the stick here. So for worst Steven Spielberg movie ever, Kay, you will be arguing for AI, artificial intelligence. Daryl, you will be arguing for Jaws, the worst Steven Spielberg movie of all time. You will be arguing for Jaws, okay?
Okie doke.
And Kay, you're all good with AI, artificial intelligence?
Absolutely.
Great. Kay, you started our debate in the last round. Daryl, you will be starting the debate in this round. Jaws, the worst movie of all time. What is your opening argument, Daryl? Go.
The one thing that stands out to me about Jaws that is just awful is the shark. The shark itself.
Daryl, can I pause you just real quick for a second? Your opening argument is the worst thing that jumps out to me about Jaws is the shark. If I was drinking liquid, it would have spilled all over my computer. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to step on your toes, interrupt you. Please go ahead with your argument. I just had to point that out.
Okay. Even as a child in 1975, as I watched Jaws and looked at that shark breach the water and tear up the boat, and I'm looking at it and I'm like, that shark looks weird. There's something about that shark that looks weird. Scary? No. Weird? Yes. If you were going for weird, he hit that. He hit that hard. But yeah, I didn't really, and Robert Shaw as Quint, I found him rather bland. He was stoic, but he was corny. He didn't do it for me. And even Roy Scheider as the lead, it was just, I don't know, it was kind of like, I don't want to be mean, he was kind of PTSD-ish, where it was just kind of, I don't know, if you're going to be protecting things and helping folks as a sheriff, they got to be able to trust you. And you're freaking out and you're shooting stuff and chasing folks off the beach and screwing up folks 4th of July and just, the shark's helping, but he's not really serving a purpose as to being a good cop. He was being a bad cop.
All right.
He was being a terrible cop.
Okay, Daryl is coming out of the gate swinging a little bit, calling out some of the technical aspects of Jaws and saying like how that hurt the film, and also some of the acting choices. Robert Shaw, not a very good actor, and Rob Schneider.
Oh my!
If only Rob Schneider was in this film. Roy Schneider. That would have been a very different movie. Roy Schneider, not being given anything to do in the script, and also making some bad acting choices. What is it about AI, artificial intelligence, that you think is the worst Spielberg film of all time?
Well, just starting off with the title of the film, it's AI. It's AI, artificial intelligence. It's like the Los Angeles Angels. Why is this doubled up? That feels redundant and silly, and like they think the audience is stupid and doesn't understand that the phrase, the term, or I should say, the acronym AI will stand for artificial intelligence. So just starting off with the title, we're not on a good foot here. This is one of those films where I feel like someone who was writing two different movies but only had funding for one, so they crushed them both together and were like, we'll make one movie out of this. Also, the biggest thing for me is how unhealthy is it for somebody's child to be life-threateningly ill and for them to think, know what I'll do? I'll buy a robot that makes me feel less alone. That can't be healthy. That's not a good choice. Arguably, I've only taken a couple psychology classes, but I don't think that's the best option for dealing with the illness of a loved one, is buying a robot version of your child and trying to replace them. So just off the title, the fact that there's two very different plots happening at the same time, one with like the polar ice caps melting, and then the struggle of this family whose child is very ill and may not recover happening at the same time. Where is this film going, and at what point does someone turn it off?
Wow, Daryl, we have some strong arguments coming out from Kay about the redundancy of the title and how that plays into the redundancy of the story. We have multiple storylines going on that doesn't, an A storyline, B storyline, not helping the overall story together, and also the psychological effects of getting a boy robot to be with your family. Do you have a rebuttal to any of that? And what would you argue about artificial intelligence that actually makes it a good movie?
It's been so long since I watched AI, so I figured, let me go ahead and bone up. So I watched AI last night. And I thought the acting from Haley Joel Osment was great. He at some points kind of made me think that he was actually a little boy, when they first got him and brought him into the house. I mean, weird, but the fact that he became the protagonist because their real son came back and started being like really abusive towards the artificial intelligence boy was kind of terrible. But at the same time, that it drew you more to him and made you, love him more. Well, I'll say love, but care about him more, be more concerned about what was happening with this character, and him sitting underwater for 2,000 years. It's like, oh my God, all he wants is his mama. Can we get this boy his mama? And eventually he did.
All right. Kay, Daryl's saying how we used Haley Joel Osment's incredible acting as an entry point to care about these characters and to become emotionally invested. What is it about Jaws that makes it a superior film to AI?
I think months ago, we probably would have argued that the mayor of Amity Island refusing to close the beaches to keep people safe is, wild and crazy talk, and that would never, ever happen. And then a pandemic happened, and there was a whole state where the governor refused to close the beaches. And then there was an outbreak of said pandemic there. So the reality of the situation is this is a very real situation that we could experience here, because we have, except there isn't a shark. It's a deadly virus. So I would argue that the reality of Jaws and humanity just ignoring the problem and hoping it'll go away, it makes it a very accurate film. I would also say that Haley Joel Osment is an amazing actor, but who else is an amazing actor in that film? Who else carried their weight? Really, no one. It was down to him and the other little boy. They were the only ones who seemed like they were trying. Jaws goes all the way. Jaws is an iconic film. You can see the Jaws poster anywhere in the world and you'll know what it's about. I have a shirt that says Amity Island Sailing Club, and anytime I wear it, people are like, Jaws. It doesn't even say Jaws on it, but people know. Plus, let's all admit, that part with the head gave us all the first real big jump scare we had as a kid, because was terrifying. So I would argue that Jaws is superior based off those facts of reality and, you know, iconicness. As to where I have never seen anyone wear an AI shirt.
Daryl, we've never seen anyone walk around with a T-shirt that says AI. She goes on to say that, or she started this argument off with, Jaws is life imitating art, or rather the world that we live in is life imitating art, and how impactful that movie was back in the 70s. It's even more relevant today. So there's social commentary. The acting in AI isn't quite as good as you say it is. Could we get your final arguments, your final thoughts about Jaws and how garbage of a movie Jaws is, and how decent of a film AI is, please?
Moi?
Yes, Daryl.
Jaws.
Why is Jaws a garbage film over AI?
I can make a T-shirt that says "All Lives Matter." People are going to recognize that it says "All Lives Matter," but everybody isn't going to agree that it's great. That being said, a Jaws shirt or a Jaws poster does not make the movie itself great. There's posters for The Sword and the Sorcerer. there's posters for Battle Beyond the Stars. Doesn't necessarily make it a great movie. But what does make it a not so great movie is the hype around it. I feel it's been overly hyped, and you know we have this music and that I don't necessarily really care for. I get it. It's iconic to some people, but again, different strokes for different folks is what I say about that. Jaws is overrated. I guess that's the best way to describe it. Okay. Jaws is not the epic that it is construed to be.
All right. Jaws is an overrated film. Kay, what makes AI overrated? Final argument.
So it's a valid point that Jaws might be overrated. Like I mentioned, it's iconic. It's something we can all recognize. However, I would also argue that AI is not underrated. I think it's rated exactly as it should be, as a terrible film. Not only that, what were we all doing at 27? Well, Steven Spielberg directed Jaws at 27. I sure as heck wasn't doing that. What an incredible feat to achieve at such a young age, when the only big film he'd made before that was Sugarland Express 4 or 5 years previous. So not only the iconicness of the film and how I don't believe that AI is underrated, also the people who worked on it. Verna Fields was an icon of editing in film, not only as an editor, but as a woman in the editing industry. Even so much that she would edit the dailies in her house, and the scene with the head that pops out of the ship that we were mentioning earlier was actually filmed in her pool in her backyard. So it's not only the film, but the people that had part of the film and took part in making it into this incredible thing that we recognize now. The Jaws effect even is, while being a negative thing, is something that happened that, since people were so scared of sharks, shark hunting happened. So it has a reach outside cinema to the greater world and to the greater population. Therefore, I think Jaws would be the superior Steven Spielberg film and AI would be the inferior film.
All right, you guys, two heavy arguments here. Kay, I do have to fact check you one little bit. Previously, you said that Sugarland Express came out 4 or 5 years before Jaws. It actually came out 1 year before Jaws.
Well, he made it when he was 24.
Yes, which would have made him 25 when he made Jaws, as opposed to your.
I would double check that.
Well, if math adds up, anyway, yes. Well, yeah. Somebody on the internet, check that out for us. So here's the thing. Here's what's difficult for me. Kay, you make a great point that Jaws was a huge social impact on the world, not just for its time, but also for today. I think those are some of your strongest arguments, coupled with the fact that AI psychologically did not help us, or rather give us a reason to not care about the characters of the film, but like it's actually the story itself is kind of destructive. Whereas Daryl, you make a great point that was exactly the reason that made it a great film, was because Haley Joel Osment was such a great actor in that film. He gave us that emotional entry point to align ourselves emotionally with these characters, as well as like the fact that, you know, the technical aspects of the film for Jaws didn't really do it for you. It doesn't make sense within the story of Jaws to have, you know, like if the sheriff actually believes that there's a shark causing havoc in the water, why doesn't he just pull rank and pull authority and say, no, we are saving lives? I think you guys make both excellent arguments. Daryl, I think I would have liked to see just a little bit more from you about why AI was as terrible of a movie as it was. Because I think we can all generally agree that Jaws is the superior film. And I just didn't see enough as to why AI didn't work. Again, I have to declare a winner, and for this round, we are declaring Kay again the winner of this particular round. We still have 3 rounds to go, so score is currently Kay 2, Daryl zip. But hey, we still have another 3 rounds. Anything could happen in 3 rounds, right? Daryl, how you feeling? You're down by 2. How you feeling? Where are your spirits at?
As you can see, I am wearing a Kansas City Chiefs shirt.
I do see that, as well as you've got a ring on your shirt and a ring on your hand.
In this year's Super Bowl, the Kansas City Chiefs were down, but in the end, they emerged as champions.
Ooh,
I'm still swinging.
A little smack talk. Kay, you're up by 2. Do you feel that you are in danger at all of being a little cocky?
Oh, always. Maybe not cocky. Maybe not in danger of being cocky, but there's no reason Daryl is not gonna like turn around and kick my butt. So
all right.
Confidence I can still get my butt whooped at this point.
Full confidence you can still get your butt whooped. All right. Well, let's see what kind of butt whooping happens in debate question number 3. Ladies and gentlemen, the question is, it's very simple. It's very straightforward. Who would win in a fight? In the show rundown, I gave you the prompt of Hannah versus Barbara. That's right, ladies and gentlemen. This is who would win in a fight? The Mystery Inc. or the Flintstones? Is it going to be the Scooby-Doo gang or the Flintstone gang? We are going to kick this off with a toin toss. Daryl, you had the toin toss in round 1, which means Kay, you would have had the toin toss in round 2. You didn't get the toin toss in round 2, so we're going to give it to you in this one. Heads will be for the Scooby-Doo gang, Mystery Inc. Tails will be for the Flintstones. Challengers are... Yes, Kay, you have a question.
Nope. I was going to say, yep, I'm ready. I apologize.
Daryl, you ready?
I got the gun.
I am ready.
Oh, man, we are all ready. Okay, here we go. Heads or tails? It is tails. Kay, you will be arguing for the Flintstones. Daryl, you are arguing for the Scooby-Doo gang. Who went first in the last round? That was Daryl, correct? All right, Kay, you were going first in this round. Opening arguments.
Okay. So, admittedly, I was born in the 90s, so Flintstones was definitely before my time, except for a certain live-action film that I, as a child, enjoyed immensely. I'm sure if I watched it now as an adult, it might be a different experience. But the Flintstones is so iconic as this image of, a nuclear family, but, in the Stone Age, and how their things might relate to ours was always a funny point for me, because they always had some sort of equivalent of the modern day thing we have now. Record players, wiper blades, modern day kitchen mixers. It's so incredible that someone had to sit down and think, okay, what would the Stone Age version of this thing be like with this fun cartoon flair? It was entertainment for the whole family.
Daryl, entertainment for the whole family, modern, or rather Stone Age versions of the modern world we live in. Who would win in a fight? Or rather, why would the Scooby-Doo gang win in a fight?
Where to begin? Well, first off, we're just going to assume they're able to be in the same place since one is Stone Age and one is modern age.
Good point.
Yep. We're gonna assume they're together.
There's a time machine. I think the Jetsons beat the Flintstones with a storyline. Somebody had a time machine. They went back in time. Blah blah blah. Let's just say that it's Doctor Who TARDIS, and they are able to be in the same place at the same time.
Okay. Well, we're dealing with cavemen. Let's just call them what they are. Cavemen versus normal humans. And the one thing that I would assume normal humans have over cavemen is intelligence, regardless of their ability to come up with all of these groovy Stone Age gadgets and whatnot. Are they precursors to real technology, or are they just these cute little things that we think they can come up with, like running with their car and that kind of a thing, and using dinosaurs to assist them and all of that? But we have the brain power of Velma and the ingenuity of Fred. And I'm sure that between the two of them, they could come up with some sort of trap or snare to deal with cavemen.
All right, Kay. Modern day technology trumps Stone Age technology. Velma being a superior intellect, and Fred being the power behind that intellect. What's your rebuttal there?
Well, trying to think here. So as far as characters go, I wouldn't sell Wilma Flintstone as a dumb character. She's incredibly intelligent and pretty much runs that family. Following up with that, the two most notorious characters of the Scooby-Doo gang are Scooby-Doo and where is he during the action? Running, hiding. My next argument is the things that the bad guys do in Scooby-Doo ever actually a crime? Is there anything illegal about not wanting people in your house and pretending to be a ghost to scare people off? I would do the same thing if I had a bunch of kids I don't recognize coming to my property. And so that's my next question is, yeah, they're solving mysteries, but the things that they're arresting people for, are they ever really crimes?
Oh, Daryl, that's a heavy blow. How do you defend yourself against kids breaking and entering, and these quote unquote criminals having to defend themselves against people, like I said, breaking and entering?
Well, I think breaking and entering is a strong term, and a lot of times these people who are dressing up as monsters aren't necessarily protecting property so much as they are trying to scare people away from something like a hidden treasure or some kind of gold idol or something like that. They're never just like, okay, I'm dressing up like a monster because you're coming to my house and I want you to leave me alone. They're dressing up like a monster because I want you to think there's really a monster here, so you won't go look for those doubloons that are hidden underneath the house. As far as dealing with one another, again, Scooby-Doo gets scared, but also Scooby-Doo can also be influenced into doing some very courageous things. If all you do is give him a Scooby snack, he'll beat the brakes off of a caveman for a Scooby snack.
Interesting point. If Scooby-Doo and Shaggy have the right motivation, they can actually, be put to good use. In addition, Daryl makes a great counter argument against the breaking and entering argument they have, Kay. Sometimes these villains actually are like stealing gold and, doing some nefarious things themselves. What is it about the Flintstones themselves that have a superior fighting power that could potentially hand the butts to, or rather their butts to, the Mystery Inc. gang?
Dinosaurs. I don't know that I need to say much more, but they have domesticated dinosaurs. If we've seen any Jurassic Park films, we know what dinosaurs are capable of. So if they've got them domesticated, they've already got control. So in a battle between a scared dog who's arguably probably high and domesticated dinosaurs, I'm going to put my money on the dinos.
Daryl, domesticated dinosaurs versus a scared dog. Where do you stand?
Well, if the dinosaurs on Scooby-Doo were as ferocious looking as the dinosaurs on Jurassic Park, yeah, I can see it. But I never.
One quick thing, Daryl. You said the dinosaurs on Scooby-Doo. I assume you mean the dinosaurs on Flintstones.
The dinosaurs on the Flintstones.
Okay.
Thank you. If the dinosaurs on the Flintstones look like the dinosaurs on Jurassic Park, yeah, I can see that. But you got these little cute, cuddly saber-toothed tigers and these little purple, lovable brontosauruses. You know what other dinosaurs purple and lovable? Barney. Are you scared of Barney? Nah, not really.
All right, you guys. I think I've heard all that I need to hear. I think this is a pretty easy one for me. I'm just gonna jump right out and say it. Daryl, this point goes to you. It was a little bit more clear cut. Kay, I think I would have liked to have heard a little bit more as like strategy as to how Velma and Daphne and Fred could use their ingenuity to actually trap the Flintstones. And counterpoint, Daryl, I think I would have liked to. I was waiting for the Bam Bam argument. I was waiting for the Bam Bam argument.
I was too.
And neither one of them came. Neither one of them came. So
I don't know that I've ever actually watched an episode of the Flintstones, so that was completely pulled out of my butt. Enjoy.
Fantastic. Good for you. Good for you.
Well, Bam Bam is possessed of superhuman strength, so that would have definitely went.
I had no idea.
Yep. Indeed he is. So I was waiting for that argument. Kay, it didn't happen. So Daryl, you get the point. Congratulations, sir. The score is now 2K. K2, Daryl 1. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we are moving on to debate question number 4. And debate question is pretty simple. Which is the better spy organization? That's right, ladies and gentlemen. Hang on a second. I just heard a siren. Kay, did I hear a siren from you or Daryl? Was that a siren on your end?
It was not.
That was a siren. That was a siren that went by my house. Yes.
Are there any bear sightings? Any bear sightings?
They wouldn't have a siren for a bear.
No sirens for a bear?
No.
They don't come like that for bears.
They might come and the police would maybe like stop outside your house, and if they saw you come out, they'd be like, "There's a bear out here," and you'd go, "Okay," and you go back inside.
All right. Well, all I heard was a siren, so I just want to make sure everybody is safe. If you're just tuning in, there has been a bear sighting in very close proximity to both Kay and Daryl, for they both live in Anchorage, Alaska. So anyway, we're going to move on to debate question number 4, and here debate question number 4. The prompt was spy versus spy. Which is the better spy organization? Is it the IMF or MI6? That's right. This is Mission Impossible versus James Bond 007. Ladies and gentlemen, we are going to do another coin toss to see who is in possession of this question. Daryl, Kay had the last coin toss. You get this coin toss. Heads for Mission Impossible, tails for James Bond. Are you ready? Here we go. Daryl, it is tails, so you get to argue for James Bond. Kay, you are arguing for Mission Impossible. Kay, are you ready?
I sure am.
Daryl, are you ready?
I am ready.
Great. Kay started us off last time. Daryl, you started us off this time. What is it about MI6 that makes it the superior spy organization?
Okay. Generally, when you talk about spies and spying and anything that has anything to do with, covert operations and that sort of thing, automatically the first thing that comes in your head is MI6 and James Bond. James Bond is the spy, the secret agent. I mean, he's dashing, he's handsome. He gets the job done. He may not do it the way it's supposed to be done, but one thing a double O agent has to know how to do is freelance and improvise, and 007 does that very well.
Interesting. Freelancing, improvising. K. The IMF, the Impossible Mission Force, Ethan Hunt, and all the rest of them. What is it about that particular spy organization that makes them superior over MI6?
What makes them superior is how covert they are. They're really confidence men. They come in, they can infiltrate any organization, any group, and you would never know that they were there. As to where James Bond in 007 is such a iconic character that it's pretty easy to tell when, it's James Bond who's coming to find somebody. As to where the IMF is so covert and secretive about getting into different organizations and seeing out different assignments that even their families would never know that that's what they were doing with their lives. Plus, also the action of the Mission Impossible films, with agents hanging off the sides of planes, off the sides of buildings, and the fact that they do those stunts in real life is so incredible and really is all encompassing in the cinema.
Wow. Daryl, Kay just hit us up with a little bit of, what makes the IMF more covert and more proficient at their jobs. They do these high death-defying stunts in order to get the job done. What is your rebuttal to that, saying that, MI6 is better?
In the movie Live and Let Die,
I know where this is going.
James Bond infiltrated a New Orleans gang.
Yep.
That gang was primarily African American.
Don't forget what happened in Harlem. I'm sorry, I'm helping you in your argument, but I live in Harlem, and I have to let it go.
That's got to be a darn good agent. And nobody suspects that you're 007. Not to mention, he has flown in planes. He has flown in outer space. He has fought underwater. James Bond has infiltrated pretty much everything that can be infiltrated. So I don't think there's an issue with James Bond being able to infiltrate things. He even though people know he's James Bond 007, he's still able to infiltrate those places.
Ouch, Kay. A white man infiltrating an African-American gang and nobody notices? That's a heavy argument. That is a heavy argument.
My opponent makes some great arguments. Another one I would add to the list is the fact that MI6 is a government agency, and ultimately whatever they do is what the government has to acknowledge as done. As to where IMF is also a government agency, but should an agent be caught or killed, being held accountable for their actions, the American government will deny any knowledge of their agency. So IMF will always, or should say MI6 will always have the support of the government if they're acting on official business. As to where IMF, even if they're caught, the government, or I should say the American government will, sell them out as quick as they can because they don't want to take the responsibility. So these agents are taking on the responsibility of all these actions all on themselves, and they can't push any of it back on their employer or the government.
Daryl, IMF disavowing their agents, whereas MI6 sticking up for their agents, is that to their benefit or to their detriment?
Well, in the movie Die Another Day,
oh dear,
when James Bond infiltrated Korea and got caught, he was left in Korea for years to be stung over and over again by scorpions and beat up by people day after day. So I think even though they may not 100% disavow his involvement in anything, I certainly would not want to be left on the wrong side of the demilitarized zone.
Yikes!
Getting stung by scorpions every day and beat up. So, they didn't disavow him, but they sure dealt him a funky hand.
Okay, Daryl has you on the ropes. Every argument that you've presented, he has been able to cut you off at the knees so far. So in your final closing arguments, and Daryl, I'm just for counterbalance here, I'm going to count that last statement as your final argument. Kay, this is your final argument. What do you have to say that makes IMF better than Bond?
I don't see any IMF agents escorting the president to the Olympics. So therefore, I would say that the IMF would be quicker to disavow their agents than MI6, which did have James Bond escort the Queen to the Olympics in London.
Wow. Some heavy arguments. I loved hearing both of these. I'm a massive fan of both franchises. I love Mission Impossible. I love the James Bond movies. If you've been watching Gotta Love Them movies, you know how I feel about No Time to Die, or rather my anticipatedness about No Time to Die. Daryl, what was that?
I didn't say anything.
Oh, I thought you did. Kay, did you pipe something in my ear?
Nope, you're good.
Okay, so I'm hearing things. Great. Maybe it's a bear outside of my apartment. All right, ladies and gentlemen. Okay, what was that?
I said, I hope not. Not in Manhattan. That would be bad.
Like I said before, if there's a bear in Manhattan, it's a different kind of bear. Ladies and gentlemen, for both of these arguments, I don't need a coin toss. I know exactly where I stand. Kay, you had a great argument, but I'm sorry, Daryl cut you off at the knees at every go. Daryl, congratulations, you won this particular round. The score is currently 2-2. That was a pretty much a shut down round. You knew exactly what you were saying. You knew how to point counterpoint. Daryl, the score is even. It is tied. It is 2-2. How do you feel your chances are moving forward?
50-50. I'm trying to be humble right now because I know that Karma is a woman with sharp claws, and I don't want to say anything that will get me cut. I'm hoping I can continue to do what I'm doing.
Kay, as a woman, I have not seen your sharp claws, but I don't even know if you have. Nope, you don't have sharp claws.
Nope.
Nice and clean cut fingernails.
Thank you.
So how do you feel moving forward into this last round?
Those last two rounds were both topics I know almost nothing about. So, again, pulled it all out of the nethers because I have no idea. So, that was a quick work on my part. And Daryl is a great opponent. I've known this all along. I'm looking forward to this final round because I'm really just looking forward to the debate because it seems like something that's going to be an interesting thing to go into.
Excellent, and I agree. So this next thing that we are going into, debate question number 5. This is the last debate of the day. It has been argued over the years that Daniel Day-Lewis is the greatest living male actor today. Not just by, I have mixed feelings on it, but this is an argument that many people are stating. They're laying out all their facts, saying Daniel Day-Lewis is the greatest living actor today. But who do you think is the greatest living female actor? So that is the big question for today. Who is the greatest female actor? And of course, I use the qualifier female actor as opposed to actress. It has always hit me weird that we use the term actress as opposed to actor. We say doctor, we don't say doctress. That there's always been like a weird thing for me. I don't know if either one of you guys have feelings on the matter, but here we are. So Kay, I'm gonna throw it to you. Who would you choose for the greatest female actor living today?
Cate Blanchett.
Cate Blanchett. Interesting. And Daryl, if you had some time to think about who the greatest living female actor is today.
Angela Bassett.
Ooh. Oh. You guys, we have ourselves a fight. Cate Blanchett versus Angela Bassett. This is going to be knockdown, drag out. Oh man, Daryl, you correct me if I'm wrong. You went first in the last round, correct?
Yeah.
Bond. Yeah, you went first with Bond. So Kay, I'm gonna kick it off to you. Cate Blanchett. What makes Cate Blanchett the greatest living actor today? Go.
The first thing I would point out is how versatile she is. Not only can she depict characters on screen that are complete polar opposites of one another, she isn't a type actor. She can do so many things, but also on the stage, she has so much stage experience. Most recently in 2019 at the Royal National Theatre. So not only is she iconic in film and so has so much range in film, but she also has it on the stage. And those two types of acting are so different and don't usually translate to one another well. So knowing that she can navigate both film and the stage makes her really an incredible actor.
Oof, Daryl, film and stage and being so versatile in all the different types of roles that she plays. What makes Angela Bassett the greatest living female actor of all time? Or rather today?
First of all, as an actress, she is a credit to her race. Second of all, she only takes roles that challenge her and force her to redefine herself all of the time. And to me, that's the epitome of what an actor should be, not just, taking roles that, over and over and over is the same type of same type of role. But I mean, she's done biographical roles. She's played Betty Shabazz twice. She's played Tina Turner in What's Love Got to Do with It. So, I mean, and then on top of that, she's a graduate of Yale.
Graduate of Yale. Graduate of Yale. Kay, she's got an education. She gets to take command as to what roles she's going to play. She plays biographical roles, not just as a choice, but she does each one extremely well. What is your counterpoint against Angela Bassett?
Okay, well, I would never have a counterpoint against Angela Bassett. I need you to understand that right now. But the point I would make about Cate Blanchett, why I would find her to be the more iconic and best actor, is because she can also do biopic films, but she can also do fiction and fantasy. Think of Lord of the Rings. Think of her depiction of Galadriel. It was everything that audiences and readers of Lord of the Rings wanted. No matter what other opinions one might have on the films or the other characters, that was the one of the characters that was absolutely perfect, and she nailed that depiction. And then she can turn around and play the evil stepmother in Cinderella and play Lady Tremaine. And then Where Did You Go, Bernadette, about a housewife who's tired of her life and just takes off. There's so many layers to somebody who can play that many characters that well on the screen. Not to mention my personal favorite, Thor 3 Ragnarok, where she played Hela, and one of the coolest outfits I've ever seen, and she rocked it like a champ.
Daryl, Cate Blanchett can play fantasy, she can play fiction, she can play nonfiction, she plays biographical roles. There's multiple layers to what she's able to emote and inhabit into these characters and in these roles. But she doesn't have a counterpoint for Angela Bassett. What is it about Cate Blanchett that doesn't quite match up for you?
As an actress, I enjoy much of Cate Blanchett's roles. However, a lot of the times I've noticed that she's a little, I don't know. What's the word I'm looking for? Let me come back to that. Kate Blanchett does not do it for me in outside of Lord of the Rings and Ragnarok. Those fantasy roles were great, but any other fantasy role I've seen her in, I didn't enjoy her in it as much as I enjoyed Angela Bassett in, say, Black Panther as Black Panther's mom.
Let me feed you this a little bit. You say it doesn't quite do it for you. That's a little bit more of a subjective position. If you could take more of an objective position, what is it about Kate Blanchett that doesn't work for anybody?
I would hate to point out physical features, but
okay, and well,
she's tall.
Okay, she's too tall. Kate Blanchett is too tall. How do you counter that?
So I've been to auditions where I've had every aspect of my physical appearance torn apart. Too chubby, my eyes were too small, one lip was bigger than the other, I shouldn't have boobs this small with hips this wide. These are all things that directors and casting people have told me either to my face or later after an audition. So taking the physical part into exception, and the fact that even though she might be too tall, and she still made such an amazing career out of acting both on stage and on screen, because let's be fair, you don't see tall women on stage very often because they can't be taller than any male counterparts. So the fact she overcame that to be the iconic, film and a stage juggernaut that she is incredible. Plus, she does so much and talks about women acting in over 50. There is a running joke in the theater world where for women, there's two roles, rapping granny and whore with a heart of gold. And once you've done both of those, you're pretty much out of roles.
Yeah.
And the fact that she's over 50 and still telling Hollywood, no, I'm not going to change these things about me. And yes, I'm going to continue act and be a badass is incredible and gives me hope that I'm not going to be stuck with those two roles for the rest of my life in my acting career.
Daryl, that's a stiff argument to go up against. And I'm going to use that as your final argument there. Daryl, as a final argument, what is it about Angela Bassett that blows Kate Blanchett out of the water in terms of her roles, in terms of her acting technique, and in terms of what she's able to let the audience emote from her perspective?
As I said, she's very discerning about a lot of roles that she's taken that have like super strong emotional gravitas. Roles like in How Stella Got Her Groove Back. I mean, she grabbed us emotionally with that role. Waiting to Exhale, she grabbed us emotionally with that role. Even to go so far as to a television show, 911, that she helps to executive produce. She brings that cinematic gist to that television show, and it makes it more than just an ordinary television show. I mean, she's not your ordinary actor. She excels at what she does.
Wow. Ouch. Oof, you guys, this is a tough one because you both bring excellent points. Like all of the things that Kate Blanchett has been able to overcome. This is essentially what all the arguments come down to, because I think you guys were evenly matched on the types of roles that they're able to put out and become extremely proficient in. Like they're both diverse. They both are able to do incredible things on screen. For me, I think the arguments came down to what are they able to do off screen to get them the on-screen jobs. Angela Bassett, incredible producer. She is extremely very workable malleable or pliable in terms of how to get the things that she wants to be done. Same thing with Kate Blanchett. Like, I'm not going to take no for an answer. You think this is what I should be? I'm going to show you what I can be. I'm going to give you something completely different that you didn't even know you wanted. And I think these are two extremely well crafted arguments. But when it comes down to me, Daryl, I'm sorry. I've got to go with Kay on this one. I've got to go with Kay with this one.
I know.
Kay, you are the winner, the champion for our second
My
week in a row.
My goal was to not say anything mean about Angela Bassett because there's no way I possibly could. She's amazing.
And originally, that's where you lost me. You lost me. Like, when you came out with the argument and said, I can't say anything bad or negative about Angela Bassett.
And Kate was my first choice.
Oh, really?
Oh,
Oh!
wow. Wow.
That's wild. Wild.
Wow.
So,
Oh, boy.
I was ready for the backup, but I wasn't ready. Her arguments were more compelling.
Oh man, okay. So Daryl, from your perspective, as soon as Kay said Cate Blanchett, what happened in your mind? What happened in your heart? What happened?
Dang.
Yeah.
That's exactly what happened in my heart. Dang.
Now, I'll be completely honest. I was expecting one of you or somebody to drop the name Meryl Streep. I thought somebody was going to say Meryl Streep. Did Meryl?
Same. I also thought.
Okay. All right. Daryl, did Meryl Streep's name come across your brain at all?
It did. Those three names came across my brain. But Cate Blanchett was the first one.
That's absolutely fantastic. You
Katharine
guys.
Hepburn. Backup.
I'm sorry. Say it again, Kay.
Katharine Hepburn was my backup.
Ooh, that's a good second. You guys, Kay is our winner for 2 weeks in a row. If she's able, she will return next week to defend her title once again. Daryl, thank you so much for being on Gotta Debate Them Movies. How was this experience for you?
This was fun. It was actually a lot more fun than I thought it was going to be.
Oh, fantastic.
I enjoyed this thoroughly because, like I said, I love movies. I love talking about movies, and so this was very cathartic.
Was it more difficult or easier than you had anticipated?
Depends on the questions.
Depends on exactly. Yeah.
The two questions that I came back with, I was like, oh, I got a plethora of stuff for these.
Sure.
So,
yeah.
It did the first two though.
I feel that. Kay, reigning champion, second week in a row. How are you feeling right now? Let's check in.
Anxious.
What about next week?
I already I took my anxiety meds this morning, so I'm feeling okay. But if I weren't,
okay, all right, I feel that.
No, it's still a ton of fun. Pre-pandemic, we would go to pub quiz at 49th State a couple times a week, which was usually my one chance to like dump my brain of like my film knowledge. So getting to do this is kind of like that again, and getting to spend it with fellow people who enjoy films is really like the highlight of my week right now.
That's fantastic.
Willowad too, okay.
Oh yeah, I never made it to that one because it was always on a night I had a class. But for some reason Monday nights worked. But yeah, that's two local watering holes in our area that do Geeks Who Drink.
Well, if either one of you happen to be in the greater Anchorage area, you can go up and do movie trivia, pub quiz. Yeah.
Yep.
When it opens.
I don't know about right now.
Yeah, probably not right now. Anchorage is still pretty shut down.
Well, when it opens back up, maybe you can go do some pub trivia. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for joining with us today. Go ahead and jump down to the comment section below. And, I'd be very interested to hear your thoughts on rounds 1 through 5. Do you agree with my judgments, with my callings? Or do you think I was a little off the mark in some areas? Jump down to the comment section below and let me know. You guys, this does it for Gotta Debate Them Movies. Kay, willing, if you were able, would love to have you back next week to defend your title.
Yeah.
Tell us where can people find you online?
Me?
Yeah.
Is my Twitter handle down here?
It is right there.
Okay, so that's where you can find me on the Twitter. I'm also one of the co-hosts of the podcast, The Fanatarium. You can find us on Twitter and wherever you find your podcasts.
Fantastic, The Fanatarium. And Daryl, do you have any things to plug? Where same thing. Where can people find you online?
I do a weekly podcast called Be Real with D-Rail on Saturdays at noon. And there is a Facebook page for it. You can reach me there, as well as on Twitter and Insta.
Perfect. Ladies and gentlemen, as always, if you like this video, click like. If you really like this video, click subscribe. And if you really, really like this video, click share. Because that is exactly what Steven Spielberg in his best and worst movies of all time would want you to do. I've been your host, Mike Brown. Thank you so much for joining us on Gotta Debate Them Movies. You can't hear it, but everyone's laughing in my ear right now about Steven Spielberg. His best and his worst movies. That's what they want you to do. Anyway, guys, we live in a weird world, so please speak kind words to each other. We all have differing opinions and viewpoints on various things. So, like I said, please speak kind words. Please give people the benefit of the doubt. And yeah, so I hope you're having a great day. I hope you have an even better weekend. I will see you not on Monday. I won't see you on Monday. I will see you on Tuesday. I have to work on Monday, so sorry, no show on Monday. But I will see you back, willing, ready, and able on Tuesday with another installment of Gotta Love Them Movies. Thank you so much. I'm out of here.